Okay.
Welcome to the Montana Volleyball press conference for week 2, I suppose. We're joined today with head coach Allison Lawrence and senior libero Alexis Batezel, who was just named to the all-tournament team down at the Utah Valley Invitational. Coach, we'll start with you back home this week for the Allison Invitational. 3 matches at home. How excited are you to get out in front of the fans in Dahlberg?
Really excited. I think it's a great tournament. I think the field is really great. Just will test us in certain ways, and we played NDSU last year, and it was really close, lost both, and I feel like there's pieces that we can add to our game this year to really respond to even that last year. So I'm excited for that, and it's always fun to be home with everybody else. So it'll be a fun tournament atmosphere. Griz Nation will be all around everywhere, so it's always a fun time to be home.
And Lexi, wondering if you can just kind of talk a little bit about Ellie and the namesake of the Allison Invitational and what it's been like having her around the program the last couple of years.
Yeah, Ellie and I came in at the same time, so that's pretty cool that we're on the same timeline. So I've just got to see her like firsthand grow through this and be so loved and supported by this team, and just brighten our days. When she comes to practice, everyone like sprints to her to give her hugs. She picks our songs for practices. She leads all of our Griz cheers. She just like really incorporates that family aspect into this team.
Lexi, we'll start with games finally happening this past weekend. Just obviously not maybe the results you wanted, taking a couple of sets here and there. Just how would you kind of assess this first weekend in a road tournament where there were some pretty high-level teams there too?
Yeah, I think we got to see the things that we needed to see and the things that we need to work on, and we got tested in the toughness piece that we've been trying to incorporate as like our team identity this year. And it was ultimately like the best road test because we got to see different servers, different attackers, and we got exploited, but also like it's good that that's on the road because now we can come home and hone in on all the things that we got kind of shown. Like, I don't know, it's just good to see those types of things, and we know what we need to work on now.
Allison, kind of your thoughts as well. The tournament beforehand, you'd mentioned how good these teams were going to be kind of right out of the gates, you know, measuring your team. Just what was it like kind of going out there against this competition and then seeing the girls take a few sets as well?
Yeah, I think it was what we expected. And like Lex said, it really exposed some parts of our game that I think we didn't really see as clearly as we did just with another opponent on the other side of the net. So it was a great learning atmosphere. I think, you know, the part that I'm frustrated with and with myself too is, you know, scheduling's tough, but I think playing 3 matches in 24 hours is really tough. And so figuring out ways to not put our team in that position. And, you know, we still lost the games and everyone was playing that same schedule. So it's not like we were unique in that. But I think there were parts of that were hard to navigate. We had about 35 minutes in between a 5-setter and in our Boise State match. So there were parts of that we're looking back on as, okay, this was exposed. And then there's parts where we think, okay, when we're fresh, I think we're doing those things a little better than we've shown. So not to, you know, put excuses on it, but I think that piece was part of navigating that tournament. And it was a really physical tournament. It was really fun. So our match against Navy, to end it, there were so many long rallies where, you know, multiple possessions on both sides and both teams going deep into their bench and deep into the rally to try to win. And so exciting volleyball and an exhausting weekend. So I'm excited to be at home and rest up a little bit.
Kind of alluded to it, but you guys are home, soccer's home, football gets their first game going. Just speak to that energy, I guess, around campus of everybody here in athletics, and it kind of feels like school like really kind of starts now that everybody's finally getting going this week.
It's the best. There's no better place to be than Missoula on a game weekend, and seeing not only just Missoulians come out and everyone on campus come out for their first events. You know, not first, soccer's been playing and kicking butt, and there's been great fan support for that, which has been awesome to see, as always. And so I think not just Missoulians, but Montanans, and really anyone within a driving distance, flying distance probably too. And so, it's pretty electric on campus, and there's just an extra buzz, and I think we feel it too. And I think you get a lot of families that are kind of going to all events and really looking to support all the teams.
Coach, this past offseason, what were kind of your goals as far as, you know, a vision that you had for this year's team, and with the first few games under your belt, do you feel like you kind of checked those boxes?
Yeah, I mean, I think off season, we really wanted to be able to incorporate a middle presence in our offense. And, we had pieces of that last year, but we knew that needed to take big growth steps. And so, part of that was getting 2 transfers in Carly and Olivia LeBeau. And so I think adding those pieces, we didn't have them in the spring, but planning for those pieces, I think, was a big thing. And that was one component of this last weekend that I think, to your question, was really a checkbox for us. Did it win us matches? Not necessarily, but Liv LeBeau hit a lot of balls out of the middle, and was our leading kill getter. She led the team in kills, more eloquently, on Saturday. And I just think that's part of our offense that has been a staple for the last 6 years or so, and something we needed to get back to. And so having high physical middles with a lot of power and setters who can set them from anywhere on the court. And so that showed up in a big way. And then I think Lex played a huge role just in our passing and defensive core, our ball control throughout the spring, not just on serve receive, but in broken plays in different phases of the rally was a big priority. And I think she's led the way in that while being out in the spring, which is pretty remarkable. So I think that piece and that part of our toughness, like she talked about, was really, I wouldn't say a checkbox. That's always evolving, but I think that component is there. And I think we showed big strengths there.
Either or. How do you kind of take the lumps and improve and not let it mess with confidence at the same time?
Ooh, I want you to go first.
Okay. I just think this being our first time playing against actual opponents, it was going to be a learning experience regardless if we won all 3 or if we split or whatever the record was going to be. We came off a really intense and powerful fall camp, and we really fine-tuned some things, and then we also learned some things at this tournament. And I feel like it's the first tournament, and we did what we needed to do, and we know what we need to improve on going forward. And it being the first tournament, you can't just shut down. We went into this as a new group, new talent, new transfers, a young group, and this is the most cohesive that it's been in a really long time, and that feels so good. And I don't think a record is really going to break that at all.
I think that was really well said. I think the only things I'd add would just, Montana Volleyball has always been a program, identity-wise, that is trying to build into a powerhouse program. And so part of our narrative and part of our identity is we're building something that hasn't been done in a long time. And I think we're so used to and have a lot of muscle memory in just failing big and then learning again. And I don't think fear has any place in our response to weekends like that. There's disappointment for sure. But I think that piece is such a part of our toughness that has been here for a long time. And I think Lex has said a lot recently, and it's something we've talked about, that the goal isn't to be a team that doesn't go through struggle. And the goal is the struggle. We want to get into the pit. We want to get into it with each other and with the opponent and with ourselves in practice and fight to be better. And sometimes that's going to be after wins. Sometimes that's going to be after losses. Sometimes it's out of devastation. Sometimes it's out of just elation for, checking a box or reaching a goal. But ultimately, that's what we're here to do. And that's what's going to make us the best teammates, the best leaders, and ultimately the best team. So, it's it ends up a little bit Pollyanna at the end to be like, well, we learned, but I think that's, if we can value learning, then we'll move on quickly.
I think, kind of a wide answer. You can narrow the answer down however you like, but we've talked a lot about for football and basketball, how the landscape has changed with a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, how has that affected volleyball, and particularly the Montana program and the Big Sky Conference, and I guess, answer it however you want.
Generally, yeah. And I'm curious your perspective too, just as how it feels to play in that atmosphere. But I think you do see teams and programs and departments sort of put different resources into different areas to try to compete. And so I think just across the Big Sky Conference, us coaches kind of know who's getting what and what priorities are being infused into their program. And so I think you kind of see those differences play out a little bit, and you see teams adapt to them differently based on their resources. So you're learning a lot, for one, and that's kind of a vague answer to your question. But I think for us, what I love about working here is that I think this is a place that you want to live and invest in for a 4-year career. And so I think what I admire so much about our team is that regardless of, results last weekend or results generally, we have a team that is so loyal to this place. Not only their teammates, but the other people here, the people they go to school with, their larger athletic department teammates. And so I don't know, I feel like it hasn't changed a lot of our identity and how we talk about what we want to do, which I really love, and really feel like gives a lot of meaning to us showing up every day together. And then, we've benefited from bringing in transfers that have really added a ton to our program and been able to vet them in ways that I think they've added a lot, and helped us when we needed. And we've got really high quality people in that process too.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.